huge pot. What an absolute sun run of a session.
Welcome back to Next Gen Poker vlog number 76.
We get in some massive pots. There is some friendly fire action against our boy Jake.
River Rat.
Shout out to all our boys at LSU.
I'm all in multiple hands. It's gonna be a good one. Watch the whole thing. It's gonna be crazy.
Jake's pissed about this. Let's go.
And give a shout out to Jake Walker for supporting the channel and us and buying a Next Gen Poker chip.
You can get yourself one too right now. Only 100 in stock at nextgenpokershop.com. Get them while they last.
We actually met him and his brother in LA. Thank you, Presley, for showing us around. Jake and I get in a huge pot later in the episode. This is a fun one. There are 6 limps to me in the big blind. I look down at King Queen offsuit. This is a hand that wants to isolate. I raise to $20 and just the under the gun player makes the call. The other players fold. This player is the loosest guy at the table, so I'm fine going heads up with him to a flop which comes 4 Jack Jack. I decide to bet $25, trying to take it down right now, and under the gun makes the call. Going off to a turn card, which is the 10 of spades. I pick up a straight draw. I still have those 2 overs. This is one of the best cards on the turn I could get, so I continue betting for $75, trying to get pocket pairs smaller than a 10 to fold. Under the gun player decides to make the call again, so we are not liking the situation. When the river breaks out to the 4 of hearts, I check, giving up my hand. Under the gun looks strong, and he bets $100. I fold, and we are off to the next hand. Live to fight another day.
Oh, we are fighting all right today. My table is a bunch of young kids. Dylan from one of the live streams, if you recognize him, and a few of his buddies are here. And oh boy, do we go at it today at this session. Hands get crazy. There's a $5 straddle and 1 limp. In the +2 position, I decided to open it up to $25 here with King 9 of clubs. Both the straddle and the limper make the call. We're off to a flop 3 ways in position. It comes 4, 4, 8, 2 clubs. We got the King high flush draw. When it checks to me, I might check here with the Ace high flush draw, but I decided to bet here for $40, and only the +1 player decides to make the call. The turn is the Ace of clubs. He checks to me, and I decide to check and set the trap here for deception. The river is the 5 of clubs, the 4th club on the board. I'm hoping he bets into me, and he does just that. He bets $50. I'm going to go for a raise here, but I don't want to make it too big. I raise to $125, and he quickly makes a fold, tells me that he had absolutely nothing, and we are moving on, stacking chips.
My turn to hit a club flush. I have Ace-7 of clubs and under the gun. I make it $10 to go with 300 in my stack. I feel comfortable doing this because my table is passive. I won't get 3-bet very often. Just the big blind player calls the guy from our first hand, going to a flop which comes really great. 4, 5, 6, 2 clubs and a spade. We have a straight draw, a flush draw. He checks to me and I bet 10. The big blind player makes the call. Going to a turn, which is the 9 of diamonds. He now leads out for $20. I consider raising with such a strong draw, but I just make the call. He's giving me such a great price. The river comes the 3 of hearts. We have a straight. He now bets $50. I am not gonna just call. I re-raise to $150. He takes a second before making a call and flipping over Queen 7 offsuit, so we're chopping this pot up.
Alright, it's time for me to get involved. We got pocket 10s on the button. Middle position opens it up to 15. I make the call, and it gets to the small blind. A man named Realtor Ron, a real estate agent, fan of the channel, absolute beast, who goes in for the cold 3-bet to $50. Middle position will be having none of that, as he 4-bet jams for $220. And it's back on me, and I don't feel great about this spot. I think we're coin flipping at best. I make the fold, gets to Ron, who goes into the tank, is nice enough to show us what he has while he's tanking. It's pocket jacks, so we were already not looking great. And he tank calls, so we will be seeing some cards, seeing some action. Middle position shows him pocket aces. Bad news. Good news for us is we were in last place and we made a good fold. Pocket aces holds on the run out. Ron is sent packing, unfortunately, and we escape a big loss on our first hand.
We got Ace King offsuit in the +1 position. I opened it up to $10. Folds all the way around to the big blind, who we will get in plenty more pots with. This is one of Dylan's buddies. He rips it all in. He was short stacked for $55. Not going anywhere. I make the call. He flips over pocket kings, the Cowboys. We're going to need some help here on this flop. Comes 3-3-9, 5-3. Unfortunately, we cannot hit an ace. We lose this pot, but don't worry. There's plenty more action coming your way. Be ready.
This is a crazy one. I am in the cutoff. We see a raise from under the gun to $10. Jake to his left makes the call. I look down at pocket eights, a beautiful hand. I make the call, and the big blind calls as well. Going off to a flop, which comes ace 3-8, but it's all club. The initial aggressor checks, and now Jake leads out for $25. I'm drawing to a full house. I make the call. The big blind folds, and under the gun, who was the initial aggressor, now re-raises to $100. Jake makes the call, so he's gonna have a flush here a lot of the times. I cannot fold just yet. I make the call for 100. The pot is getting big as we go off to a turn, which is the jack of clubs. 4 clubs on the board now. I know for sure I'm beat. The initial aggressor who re-raised to 100 checks in the dark. That is a strange play as it's to Jake now, who jams all in for $110. Back to me. Jello, what would you do here?
Oh, come on. You gotta call.
Well, let's look at the math. The pot is $440. I have to call 110, which goes into 410 4 times. 4-to-1 pot odds, so I need 20% equity. Let's go to our calculator. I am getting exactly 23% equity. The math says I have to call, so I make the call. Now, the big blind player announces 2 pair, ace, jack, and makes the fold, so our outs are reduced by 2. Going off to the river, huge pot against a fan and friend of the channel, Jake. 3 of spades, we get there, full house.
He had queen 10 of clubs, had the flush on the flop, and we sucked out.
We take down a massive pot. Thank you to the contribution to the channel. Hope you enjoyed that math session. We have another massive pot that happens immediately after that hand. I look down at ace king of spades in the hijack. Under the gun limps. I make it $12 to go. Folds back to under the gun, who re-raises me to 50. I know he has a strong range when he limp raises to me, but I'm not folding suited ace king, so I decide to put his pocket 10s, jacks, and queens to a tough decision. I re-raise to $200 out of his $300 stack. I have him way covered, and now he decides to start talking to me.
Oh, Mr. Blog Man, that's a good raise, brother. That's 2020.
He basically announces his hand. He tells me he has queens and goes into the tank, and then he makes just the call. So we're going to a flop. He tells me he has queens, and he already has 200 of his $300 in the middle. Flop comes ace 9-5, ace in the window. Such a pretty sight. He checks to me, and I actually decide to try to look scared of the ace. I check it here, knowing I have him dominated. Turn comes a very safe 9 of hearts. He checks to me one more time, and I put $100 in the middle. Try to get him to make a crying call, but nope, he folds and flips over pocket jacks. Never trust a poker player, but we win another 200 profit right after the previous hand. Let's go.
Well, Frankie continues on the sun run. Our table gets more and more degenerate. We've got another all in for y'all. Under the gun bets $10, +1 in middle position player calls. I got ace king of clubs in the hijack. Definitely going to be 3-betting here to $60. Folds back around to the +1 position player. Same guy from the last ace king all in hand. He's not afraid to jam it in. Again, he rips it for $155. Folds back to me. This is a slam dunk call.
Play on video. Rohan, hey, good luck.
Let's go, man.
Wait, show me what you have.
These guys got me dominated. I'm not showing anyone what
I show him the ace king of clubs, and he shows me one card, the deadly deuce of hearts.
You show deuces here ahead.
No,
You're gonna hit your deuce.
Oh, I don't care if I hit it, man. I just.
You're gonna win.
Hearts. Hearts are 2. Hearts are what?
I have 2 hearts.
Show me hearts.
Yes.
No 3. No 3.
Ouch, that one hurts. Everyone loves to root for the underdog. Also, who doesn't love to see a vlogger get punished on his own channel? Nice hand to this guy, and unfortunately, we're just gonna have to move on to the next one.
Next hand for me, we got pocket 9s in middle position. We see a limp. I bump it up to $15. The cutoff calls, the button calls, and the big blind calls. We're going 4 ways to a flop, which is 8-8 deuce 2 spades. honestly not a horrible flop for pocket 9, so when it checks to me, I'm going to c-bet here. I make it $30, and only one person calls in the big blind. So we're going heads up to a turn, which is the Queen of Spades. Not a great card as the front door flush gets there, and it is a card higher than the ones we are holding. To make matters worse, he donks out on this card for $75. I'm looking at it as a way I can just get away now for cheap. I don't necessarily want to call here and face a big bet on a river, which I'm not really going to like unless it's a 9. I make the fold, and he shows, proudly, pocket queens. So his donk allows me to play nicely and get away unscathed. We only lose 45 on the hand, and we could have lost a lot more. Quick one for me. I got to go pick up the familia at the airport. My little brother's moving into my college and tomorrow, actually. So some family time is in order. Lost $85. It's okay. Didn't have much to work with. Boys, hopefully you're running it up. That's it for me.
We've had way too many all-ins and big pots. Let's settle it down. I've got pocket 7s in the hijack, low jack limps. I just limp as well for $2. Don to my left, who is a friend of the channel and had ace jack in my big full house hand. He raises to $18. The low jack makes the call and I make the call. The flop comes 10, 5, 7, 2 diamonds and a heart. We flop another set. We both check to Don, who bets another $16. The low jack makes the call, and I decide to slow play my pocket 7s here and make the call. The turn comes the 3 of hearts. I check, and Don now bets $40. The low jack folds, so we're not going to be slow playing anymore. I re-raise to 100, and Don goes all in for $300. We're all in again. I make the call. The first river comes the 6 of diamonds. The next river is the 10 of hearts. We boat up. He flips over. Pocket aces. We crack aces in a huge pot. What an absolute sun run of a session. Very lucky to hit this many sets.
I think Frankie's going pro in volleyball after hitting all these sets. We got king-queen offsuit in the small blind. We see our homie Carol in middle position decide to limp. You might recognize her from the past live streams. I decide to open it to 15 and Carol makes a call. We're off to a flop. Out of position, it comes 2 king 5 rainbow. I check for deception and Carol bets $25. I just make the flat call. We're off to a turn. It's the 7 of hearts, bringing in that backdoor heart flush draw. I check. She bets another 25. Surely not going anywhere, but I'm going to continue slow playing. I make the call for $25. Off to a river comes the 9 of hearts. It completes that backdoor flush draw. I check to her once again in flow, and she bets $50. Definitely not folding here. I make the call, and Carol flips over the deadly 5-4 of hearts. She went runner flush on us and absolutely took our soul. Nice hand to Carol, and she takes our chips to end the night.
I'll start us off.
That's a great sign.
In for 500, out for 230. So a little bit of a loss here. Couldn't get the cards going my way.
I was in for 500, out for 1320, so profit of 820.
Damn.
And hopefully Rosie did well, and make sure to like and subscribe, boys.
Don't forget it.